From discounts at shopping destinations to online sales, be it restaurants or entertainment parks, the secret to success lies in making customers happy.
Probably the main reason why NPS is even more important today than it has been even 2 years ago is the fact that differentiation is becoming increasingly challenging for most brands. If you look at mobile phones as an example, you have your Samsungs and your Apples that lead the pack, but very quickly other brands emulate exactly what they can offer. And this is not just the case in the mobile phone industry, it's the same in the car industry as an example. This question of lower priced cars not having the same features as mid-range cars is gone away. So almost everyone has the same features. And as soon as you come up with an innovation, your competitors are very quick to actually emulate it or copy it and in fact come up with something better. Organizations like your Netflixes and your Amazons and your Ubers have literally changed the paradigm in terms of what customer experience is. And because a lot of them have started out fresh as startups, they haven't been burdened by incumbent systems and processes and internal cultures. And as a result, the customer experience with them is usually very, very schmick. And because it's schmick, it has raised the standard for everyone else in a very short space of time. So fundamentally what actually happens is someone who has an experience with Netflix or an Amazon starts expecting the same degree of service with their bank or their insurance company or their motor car company. And that is probably the main reason why NPS is even more critical today than even just 2 years ago. When you look at failed programs, there was a major bank that I know of that used to do NPS as follows. They used to measure 3 customers per branch per month. And then I think one was a funding customer, one was a lending customer, and one was a transactional customer. When those results came in, the branch was expected to look at those 3 customers' results and then come up with improvement plans. Now, after a while, that NPS program just died and staff didn't know what to do. So they started doing weird and amazing things like going to their clients and saying, you may get an invitation for a survey, please give us a high score. Or they started putting badges on their uniform that said, did I provide you with, 10 out of 10 customer service? Things that made staff uncomfortable and, clients probably looked at it with a sense of bemusement. And that program failed and it was NPS failed. But the fact is the execution of that program failed. We have some clients who do a survey once a year, and that too from an independent source. And the question you got to ask yourself is, how's it going to work? Because it's a long time between drinks, right? I mean, you can't wait 11 months to see what's happened. The world can change in a few months' time. So you need to regularly measure things. In some instances with B2B as an example, it makes sense to maybe measure people once every 6 months, but definitely not once a year. Most organizations look at NPS as a scope or a question they add on to an existing survey, but they don't take any action. And I have to say this sadly, we had a client that for 4 years we presented NPS results to them and we made recommendations, and their score stayed more or less exactly the same. There was a 1 or 2 point difference. And given that NPS is a 200-point scale, that was quite an amazing achievement. But the fact of the matter is, regardless of what recommendations we made, they were not taking any action against the result. And it's one of those simple things. If you don't take action against insight, your score's not going to improve. But let's talk about a successful NPS program. We have quite a few clients in the superannuation industry. Superannuation in Australia is one of those low involvement industries that people don't think about till it's too late. So it's like your retirement funds. And because you don't have to really worry about it, it's low involvement and the care factor is low, except as you get older, then suddenly you're worried about your retirement. So in this situation, it's really challenging to actually engage members. We had a client where we actually increased the NPS score by more than 55 points and took them to a place that was way above, the highest NPS score in the country. And the way we did this is critical, and this covers all aspects of the NPS mini audit. The first thing we did is we established what their strategic intentions were. So what exactly is their value proposition? Why should someone buy from them over someone else? What is their planned experience? What does the DNA of their customer experience look like in functional emotional terms? And we did this by engaging not just senior executives, but board members as well. Once we designed the strategic intentions, we then developed ways of measuring how well they perform against those strategic intentions. Plus, of course, we asked the NPS score. We trained frontline staff in terms of how to create promoters. We trained them in terms of how to contact detractors and convert them into promoters. We trained them in terms of how to come up with innovative ideas. Now, the most critical bit was every time we did an NPS survey, we presented results at a board level. But once you present it at a board level, guess what happens? It gets minuted. Once it gets minuted, you have to act against it. And their score just kept going up and up and up. And it is probably the one brand that we're very proud of because they did everything right and they reaped the benefits. And the most pleasing thing about this brand was they didn't have the same kind of marketing budget as some of their larger competitors, but they still held their own.